This is Hanley's Market Square 100 years ago. And this is the Market Square today in 2025. It's a pretty stark difference, but there are a few clues to the past that still remain, so let's explore them in this video. So if we take a look at this footage now from Market Square, you'll notice that the Pottery Shopping Centre dominates the entire area right in front here. Built in 1988, so it is still relatively modern, but now, it dominates the whole area. The area is completely pedestrianised. You've obviously got all these railings and bins and everything, but we do have quite a few, like multiple large trees that have been planted as well. And there is only one noticeable original building. Maybe you've noticed, but we will point it out in a second anyway. Well, let's take a look at the older photo anyway. So here we are. I've got no date for this photo, although it's probably sometime in the 1920s. The main building in this area here is the indoor market. It was built in 1831 at a cost of £3,500. But Hanley had full market rights since 1776, which is the year that America was founded, which is kind of crazy to think that there have been people trading in this market square since then, even before this building was built. But by the looks of this photo in particular, it doesn't look like there was enough space inside the market hall anyway, because there are stalls and people just flooded everywhere outside. And if we look at the photos side by side now, obviously you can see that the original indoor market, is completely gone and is replaced by the Pottery Shopping Centre. And there's even a bit that's like completely dug out. The ground isn't flat anymore. How it is modern now, it's all like dips and is dug out to go into the new indoor market, which is beneath the Pottery Shopping Centre. I've got a couple of more photos here from a bit more modern times, but before the old marketplace was pulled down. Because obviously it was built in the 1980s, the Pottery Shopping Centre. So you can see here how it used to look with the roads coming through, and many people alive today would recognise and remember images like this. So looking back at the photo from 2025, you may have noticed which building is the only building that's still original, and it is this one here. As you can see, over 100 years ago in this photo, it's still here. Just this little piece remaining of the original building. All the side bits have changed, but this was the Angel Vaults Public House. So a pub essentially, but it's also through the years been a restaurant, like combined with a pub. It's been a hotel, and now it's been a bank as well. Let's move on to another photo, and this old one is looking the opposite way on Market Square. This shop in the centre here is Piddock and Sons, which was a jeweller's, which first opened in 1841, but was refurbished in the 1920s, which is probably when this photo was taken, maybe a little bit earlier. It does look very old. And then looking down this street here, this is Fountain Square. Even in the far distance, that goes down to Piccadilly, which the actual structures, like the street structure of how Hanley's built here, is like very recognisable. I'll show a photo of how it looks now, and as you can see, the actual structure of the street is very recognisable. It's like exactly the same. It's just all the buildings that have changed completely. They've all been rebuilt and modernised, but they're in the exact same place. Here's a better view of Piddock and Sons on the corner, the jewellers. Interestingly enough, Henry Piddock, who obviously owned this shop, was actually mayor of Hanley in 1864, and he had a branch in Southport as well, which was still trading until quite recently. It is listed on Google as permanently closed now, unfortunately, but only like 5 years ago it was still open. But now, unfortunately, it's now one of the 55 vape shops in the city centre. Here's another view of Market Square, looking down towards Lamb Street. Again, you can see most of it very modern. This giant Primark, which is like attached to the shopping centre. But let's have a look how that contrasts with a much older picture from 100 years ago. So here we are again, a great photo from the early 1920s, this one, of a market day, very busy market day by the looks of it. So the indoor market is here, but once again, there's just so many people and so many things being sold that it's just been stacked on the cobbled streets in crates and baskets. So if Market Square was too full as well, the traders had actually pitched their wares in Upper Market Square and along Parliament Row. By the looks of it, from the difference between the two photos, quite a lot has changed. As you can see, not much recognisable at all from all the developments over the 100 years. But there is this building here, which very similar again has survived. And if we look at the older photo, I can't tell exactly which one it is, but it's probably one of these two. Here we basically have the same view, but just from further back at Market Square, because we have this fantastic old photo here, which shows another market day in Market Square, looking towards Lamb Street, and this one's actually dated as 1925. And you can see all the cars here, like the flatbed lorries that were like used as temporary market stalls as well. Again, probably because the actual market was too full itself. And you may even notice that there is a policeman in this photo. This guy here is a policeman just overlooking the market. And this, of course, is how it looks today. Very different, mainly because of all the trees here that have been planted. You simply just can't see down Lamb Street anymore from this angle. I've not got the angle exactly right here, but you can see this window here might be original. It looks very similar anyway. So that possibly might be a relic. Yet another view of Market Square, this one from 1912, so a bit earlier, looking upwards towards Upper Market Square. You can see the Angel Vault still. The building next to it there is the Grapes, which was a pub as well. And it's where businessmen would meet on market days. This is another interesting picture of Market Square from above. I don't have a similar angle because this photo was taken from the upstairs window of Piddock's jeweller's shop, which we've already seen. But yeah, there's a big display of heavy armour here that was held after the First World War, and it was quite clearly a major attraction and part of the victory celebrations held throughout the country, and the whole square is literally, as you can see, just packed with people. So now we're moving on to Upper Market Square, how it looked around about 100 years ago, and how it looks now. So if we look at the old photo, we have Sherwin's Music Shop. As you can see here, there's a big sign, sold records, instruments, sheet music, radios, all the household entertainment before TV. And you can see in the far distance, if we compare the photos, that there is a church in the old photo, and there is no longer a church at the end of the street on the new photo. Even though there kind of is, if you do walk down that street, there is a church down there, a derelict one. It's not in use anymore, but that's a whole different thing. But this church here is Tabernacle Church, and it's probably the biggest sin of the Potteries Shopping Centre, because when the Potteries Shopping Centre was built in the 1980s, this was destroyed because of it. And if you look at photos of the Tabernacle Church that I'll put up now, you can see what a crime it was, because it was a very nice building and very extensive. So it was built in 1879. Yeah, it was like a series of buildings. It had a chapel which sat over 1,000 people. It had a lecture hall inside, classrooms, a library. The spire was over 100 feet high. really elaborate windows. It actually closed in 1964, so it must have lay derelict for about 20 years before it was pulled down, but absolutely criminal that. So this photo is interesting as well. The same view on Upper Market Square looking towards Tabernacle Church. But as you can see around this lamp, all the children are congregating, and they are, of course, children looking for work. Just doing menial tasks like carrying things and fetching things for people on market days. Obviously, back in those times, that children would have to work. So yeah, that's a bit of social history there for you. Another Upper Market Square photo here showing goods being sold from the back of horse-drawn carts and even a couple of early cars. We've got this shop here, Amise, which is selling shoes. And then next door is Williams and Bedworth, which was an auctioneer's, that one right there. This photo is looking down Parliament Row, basically facing the opposite way to where we have been. You've still got Amise, that shop still selling shoes, but the auctioneers is changed and is now the Lyric Electric Theatre, which opened in 1912 and showed silent films, but was already closed by 1930. Next to the Lyric is an early Woolworths, which was still around, not in the same building exactly, but there was a Woolworths here. Even when I was alive, I remember it. It's now the Poundland. This photo was the hardest to get a good angle of. I feel like the streets and the actual buildings have sort of changed position slightly, so the angles don't really match up. But this is looking at Upper Market Square and a little bit of Parliament Row in the distance there. The building in the centre, the nice fancy one, is the District Bank. There's a low wall at the front of the bank, which served as a little meeting place and somewhere to sit and watch the wheel go by on market days. And now it's a KFC, which usually attracts the crackheads that watch the wheel go by. So this is the final photo of the video from Upper Market Square, just a better view looking down the street with the Tabernacle Church in the background. You've got Sherwin's Music Shop still on the left, the Angel Vaults and the Grapes, the both pubs on the right, and you can see the tram lines as well running up the high street. And then in the very far distance, you can barely make it out in the photo, but you can actually see Tabernacle Church as well. But the only remaining building, there's the one that we saw at the beginning, just that part of the Angel Vaults that is just still clinging on, barely. The rest has changed quite a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this video, a bit different one than my usual hiking videos, but I thought it'd be an interesting local video for me to make. I'd have to say that all the information is from a book called Around Hanley by John S. Booth. So credit that for both the images and the information. I will hopefully do more of these at some point around Hanley in different areas, different towns, because I think it's quite a fun and interesting thing to look back and see the differences and what's the same, what's remained, and what's changed in areas. So there's plenty more to explore in Hanley alone, never mind anywhere else. So, yeah, hopefully I'll do another one of these fairly soon. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTubey stuff. Follow me on TikTok. I'm on TikTok now. Bloody hell. Instagram at Hiking in History YT. YouTube, of course, and TikTok is just hiking in history. So yeah, follow me on all that stuff, and I will see you in the next one.